Hello YouTube. In my most recent video that I posted, I shared with you the fact that very deep in the core of my own style of guitar playing is this use of shapes. When I was much younger and just starting to play and doing music class at school, a lot of the other kids had training in violin and piano and things like that and singing from a very, very young age. And I just started my first guitar lessons, and so they'd already had several years of good experience and I hadn't. And it felt like I just didn't have a good ear for music, and the teacher, for example, would go to the piano and play a few notes or a note or a couple of notes or an interval or a chord, and the other kids in the class were able to identify intervals and chords, major or minor, things like that, with relative ease, and I really just couldn't hear the melodies, and I hadn't been trained, I didn't really get it, and I was listening to rock and heavy metal, so I had a whole other musical vocabulary anyway. I was good rhythmically, I was learning my guitar techniques, and I listened to kind of heavy distorted stuff, and I just couldn't vibe with what the music teacher was doing. And I never to be honest, I never caught up during school, and only continuing to practice after school has got me to a point where I can play a little bit and hear a little bit better. But I still don't have an amazing ear. So I'm very jealous of people that just have unbelievable ears. I've had to train massively to get anywhere. But somewhere around that time, a frustration with my ear was I discovered A, guitar tabs, and B, kind of like melodic shapes. And I realized, okay, maybe I can't hear the difference between a major and a minor sixth, but I can see these beautiful kind of almost visual shapes on the instrument. And it became a very important part of my playing, and I find it fun and interesting to do. So my last lesson, I had some nice shapes that I showed you, and today I'm going to show you a particularly interesting one, I think. It's like a kind of symmetrical shape. I call them symmetrical even though they're not truly symmetrical. And we will continue down this line of thought until you or I get bored. But I think there's some information here that's worth sharing. So let me play for you, then tell you what I'm doing. That's on one string, or if we go across the strings. Very simple, but I hope you'll agree it sounds quite beautiful. What I'm doing, I'm using the A minor scale. The notes are just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. On one string it's 0, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12. What I'm essentially doing is dividing the scale, so I go from the lowest note of the scale to the highest, second lowest to second highest, third lowest to third highest, fourth lowest to fourth highest, and we're making a pattern. The way I'm jumping my finger is kind of how we jump. And now I'll play it for you again. 0, 12, 2, 10, 3, 8, 7, 5. So you can see the actual physical movement of the finger reflects obviously the movement of the notes, because that's why we're playing on one string. And each note kind of gets closer to the next note. I'm sliding just to add a bit of melodic interest. Also, I think whenever you're traveling a long distance down a string, for example 0 to 12 to 2, 12 to 2, that's quite a distance, 10 frets. You know, we don't often do 10 fret jumps. So a slide could be nice. And I just wanted to share that with you today, because that is a perfect example of a lick that's been created because of the shape of the scale, lowest to highest, second lowest to second highest, third lowest, etc. That kind of mathematical balance, or that kind of visual identity, is why I came up with that lick. And I wanted to share it with you because that style of playing got me out of a real funk when I was younger, and my ears couldn't keep up with the kids that were in the school orchestra since they were 5 years old and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I've taken that style and really run with it over the years, and bit by bit I will share it with you. And as long as you guys are interested and engaged, leave me a comment, tell me what you think. I will tab this out on Patreon, just like all my lessons are tabbed on Patreon. If you want to get some extra information, that's the place to go. I thank you very much. I hope this has been useful, and I do greatly appreciate when you comment with constructive things that can make these lessons better for you. Because for me, it's kind of like this YouTube channel is just like my guitar diary. I just like think of something and I share it with you. And over the years, hopefully all the knowledge I've gained through a love of guitar is accumulated on this channel. And every now and then someone finds it and thinks it's cool, and that makes me incredibly happy. So please do tell me how you're going. Jump on Patreon if you're interested and you want to keep in touch more often. And practice your guitar, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.